This is the Information Brief, a Holyoke media service with the most recent updates of relevance in the city of Holyoke and the Pioneer Valley. I am Johan Rashivega, and this is the information for today, Monday, March 30th of 2020. National social distancing guidelines have been extended until the end of April by the President of the United States. The White House approved a federal disaster declaration for Massachusetts. As Governor Baker set new travel restrictions requesting visitors to self-quarantine, the CDC advises non-essential travel for 14 days in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And Massachusetts launches BUOY, a new online healthcare tool for checking symptoms and connecting to health services. This Sunday, the President of the United States extended the restrictive social distancing guidelines through April, bowing to public health experts who presented him with even more dire predictions for the expanding coronavirus pandemic. The initial 15-day period of social distancing urged by the federal government expired this Monday, and the president had expressed interest in relaxing the national guidelines, at least in parts of the country less affected by the pandemic. He instead decided to extend them through April 30th. The president acknowledged that he may be forced to extend the guidelines again at the end of April, but expressed hope that by June 1st, and quote, "we should be well on our way to recovery," end of quote. In response to Governor Charlie Baker's request for federal disaster assistance, the White House and FEMA announced on Friday that the president had issued a major disaster declaration that will make federal disaster assistance available beyond what was included in the emergency declaration of March 13. With this declaration, a public assistance program will become available to affected local governments, state agencies, and certain private nonprofit organizations statewide by being reimbursed for 75% of their costs associated with response and emergency protective measures. The eligible emergency protective measures include non-congregate isolation and quarantine costs for homeless individuals and families, as well as first responders, as well as other types of properly documented costs. Also, individual assistance programs will be able to provide funding for the Massachusetts Department of Mental Health to assist individuals and families in recovering from the psychological effects of COVID-19 through electronic phone and chat technology. Last Friday, Governor Baker announced new guidelines on travel and transportation. With these new guidelines beginning on March 27th, all travelers arriving to Massachusetts are instructed to self-quarantine for 14 days. This guidance will be displayed as posters at service plazas along the I-90 eastbound, distributed as flyers at major transportation hubs, and on the highway message boards. Visitors are instructed not to travel to Massachusetts if they are displaying symptoms. Healthcare, public health, public safety, transportation, and designated essential workers are exempt from this requirement. Also on Saturday, the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, urged residents of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut to refrain from non-essential domestic travel for 14 days effective immediately. The governors of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut will have full discretion to implement this domestic travel advisory. In other news, the Massachusetts administration announced on Friday the launch of Voice Health, new online resource for residents to check their symptoms and connect them with the next appropriate healthcare resource. This tool does not replace emergency medical care, but it may be used as a support for residents during the COVID-19 outbreak to connect with appropriate healthcare resources if they display coronavirus symptoms. BUOY Health's online is free and available the 24 hours for Massachusetts residents and uses current COVID-19 guidance from the CDC and the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. Visit buoy.com/mass to learn more and use this resource. Stay in the know with Holyoke Media. We are reporting different announcements, services, and updates in the local, state, and federal level related to the COVID-19 outbreak. This service is made available in English and Spanish for our community in the city of Holyoke and the Pioneer Valley. This is the information we have for now. We will continue updating and following up as soon as more information becomes available. If you have questions or information to share with us as well as your concerns, you can contact us on our different outlets on social media. We are on Holyoke Cable Channel 15 and social media. We are present on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on podcast distribution platforms. This has been the information brief for March 30th, 2020. I'm Johan Rashi Vega, and you're watching Holyoke Media.